Coach, it seemed like it was a game of ebb and flows and momentum. They jumped out early. You were able to fight back. What adjustments did you need to make in order to get your team back in this ball game?
Well, defensively, we brought some pressure, and it gave us some energy when we had success and where we get off the field, and thus, eventually changing the field position. And then our offense started clicking, and they were feeling good, and we felt some momentum, and just weren't able to get the same type of play in the second half for whatever reason. I think some coaching went into that defensively. I take some responsibility on some calls, perhaps a little too conservative, and we won't make that mistake again.
Coach, you guys showed flashes of brilliance. Talk about what you can take from this experience moving on to next week.
So the thing I'm encouraged about is that you've always demonstrated a fighting spirit at NCCU, my time there, and today was no different. And I think you always have a chance when you do that. We played some young men that grew up today, and we're going to have to build on that as well. Played quite a few players, but we're going to have to play more. And so we'll start with those things and build from that, and hopefully have a positive outcome in our next competition.
The SWAC and the MEAC, the challenge. Just speak to that and how special that is for coaches, players, fans, HBCU, and everybody in the land.
It was awesome. It was awesome. A great stage for both institutions and football programs. Thanks to ESPN for putting this event on. Everything was first class, what Mr. Grant and his team did. From the moment we left to our time here, everything's been first class. Sorry to our alumni and fans that we did not perform the way we'd intended to. Appreciate the support. You all saw them out there. They're the greatest fans in America, the best football fans, athlete fans you can have from an institution. And we'll make sure going forward in the future, we'll make them very proud.
Coach, why are HBCUs important?
Well, I think it's HBCUs got a culture of their own. It really is it's important to stress about how people of color can do things like everyone else, and I think that's what's promoted. With an opportunity, you have a chance to earn a great degree and go on to become something, for yourself. And our history, our legacy of our school, and those who have graduated and moved on, I think demonstrates that. I'm sure Prairie View feels the same way. North Carolina A&T feels the same way, and it's important to have that those opportunities.
Coach Mark Wright from ESPN's The Undefeated. You communicate with your team after a game like this. Obviously, there's some level of disappointment, but it's early in the season as well, so you have to keep that perspective. How is your communication to them?
First of all, I told them I loved them. I told them I was encouraged by their fighting spirit, that was good to see. Not knowing how this was going to turn out, not knowing how we were going to play to the end, that was very important for me because, I'm a fighter, and I think that's the way you have to play football. I told them that, all our goals and everything that we want to achieve, especially in conference, is still right in front of us. First thing up is we've got to eliminate the mistakes and some of the things we did, and we've got to work to get better. So I think they realize there's a lot still to play for, and we're going to go forward on that thought.
You can still get the celebration goals.
We're not going to work that far ahead yet. We're going to go one at a time, but one coach had mentioned there's a possibility that we might see this team again. They're going to win a lot of football games. They got a really good program. They're up and running. They got a good football team. It would not surprise me if they're back here in December.
Coach, talk about there were about 5 plays that I could see right off the top. One was a block punt, and the guy just kind of looked at it, dropped in front of him. Almost interception. Can you speak to that and the urgency of making the plays when necessary?
I think that's the advantage of, first of all, a team that has a game under their belt. You could see early in the game that Prairie View was just a step and a half quicker than us in everything. We left a lot of big plays on the field. That instance you're talking about, ball just lying around, that is not us. We do a very good job of takeaways. And, when it wasn't coming up, it seemed like at times we had pressure on the quarterback and we just couldn't finish with a sack or a tackle for loss. It seemed like in the run game, offensively, we have a hole, we shoot up inside, we get 820 as opposed to ripping off 45. It just seemed like we were a step and a half slow. A little surprised about that, to be totally honest with you. But it was indicative of opportunities that we left on the field. And Prairie View showed to be much more opportunistic in those areas.
Coach, you talk about a lot of your young guys having to touch the field.